Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a story time about my LSAT experience. And just a disclaimer, I know I usually don't show myself personally or personal life type of things. And that's more so only because I just want to keep the content that I put out more so about like inspiring you all for the LSAT and just keeping you all focused, and I don't want you all to get distracted. Today the reasoning why I am showing my face in the camera is because I didn't really see any other way that I could tell you guys this story without being transparent and coming to you face to face. So I graduated in 2015, and I knew that this was something that I was going to do. I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. I knew this was the career I wanted to go in. But my focus more so, my plan more so was to get a job in the legal field, gain experience, have my foot in the door, then take the LSAT, then go to law school. But, our plans don't always work out as how we want them to. So I ended up not getting a job in the legal field and working in another field. And I was doing that for like a year and a half. Still trying to get a job while working. But in 2017, I was like, all right, you know what? Like, instead of me spending all this time trying to get a job in the legal field, I just need to go ahead and do this. Like, I need to go take my LSAT, go to law school. I could get a job when I'm there. So I started looking up. So my first approach to it, I started looking up tutors or like sessions or classes to take, because I thought that would be like the better route. And I did my research, looked up reviews, and I found a guy in my area who had great reviews and passing rates. Like, he had high score rates, and the pricing was just way too high for me. It was way too high. I think he was charging like $200 an hour. Couldn't do that. So I was like, you know what? I think I could do this myself. Like, I looked up, people who self-studied, and I think it's possible. I'm not dumb. I'm a smart girl. It's definitely possible. So I went to my first bet. I was really trying to save money. So I was trying to save money. So my first thing, I went to the library, my local library, my public library, and they had a lot of books. A little outdated, yeah, but they had a lot of books. So I got every book that they had, and I just kept renewing them and renewing them. Some of them were good books, some of them not so much. One book that they had, it was catering to logic games. It was a logic games book, and that book it set me back so much. So that's another thing. Like, when you're taking your LSAT, be wary of the content. Like, be particular with the content that you're using, because not all content is good content. Just because it says it caters to the LSAT does not mean that it's going to help you. Because this particular book, this logic game book that I was reading, that I was studying out of, set me back so much, because I would be doing the game that they provided, and the answer choice, they didn't even have the right answer in the answer choice, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, So I had to go back and do more research, and I ended up finding about the Power Score books, and those books helped me a lot, because I started off, being that I was studying logic games, I started off with that Power Score logic game book, and I was like, this helped so much. It put so much stuff into perspective for me, and that section I was confident in. So my study approach was more so reading the content. Like, I did take a diagnostic, and I didn't do bad on my diagnostic at all. That's why I felt really like determined and confident and optimistic, because I didn't do bad on my diagnostic at all. So about like a few months in, I'm like, all right, I think you should go ahead and schedule your test. So first test I scheduled for was to take the test in June 2018. That's the first time I scheduled to take the test. And I was like, all right. Kept studying, and I did not have a study routine. That's another mistake that I made. I did not have a study routine. So I was really just like, someone asked me this on my Instagram. They were like, do you read the Power Score books like page for page? I was reading the Power Score books page for page. And that was how I was studying, reading the Power Score books page for page, because you know how they have like the questions in there. I was like, okay, like I'm doing fine. No. So, June 2018, so time is approaching. I didn't have a consistent study schedule, but I was, studying. Like, I was getting through the books. Got through the reading comprehension book. The only section that I realized I really had trouble with, was the, logical reasoning section, which I still kind of have trouble with, but I'm working on it consistently. So that's that. But in April, everything was just clicking for me, you know what I mean? Because in April, something popped in my mind, because I have a learning disability. So something popped in my mind, like, maybe you should apply for testing accommodations for the test. And I ended up applying for testing accommodations and got approved. And I'm like, okay, it's a sign. I'm very big on signs from a higher power. I don't know if you all believe in God. I don't want to force God on you, but I'm very big on that, signs from God. So I felt like this was just a sign, God was telling me it's okay, you'll be fine, take the test. But at the same time, the content wasn't really clicking for me. And keep in mind, I said I was just going through the books page for page. I wasn't taking time to take practice tests in between, or see my progress and stuff like that. Because I didn't understand the content more so. I didn't really understand what, I didn't understand the test. So time is approaching. I think 2 days before something, I got an email from my proctor, and she was saying please email me or something like that. And I didn't see, and there was a time limit on when I had to email her, and I didn't see that email until the day after, and that just put fear in me. And I was just oh my god, and I didn't feel ready to take the test, because I didn't get through the whole Power Score book, because I'm reading page per page, and it's a lot of pages to get through, plus I'm working full-time still. So oh my god, I ended up writing her a long email, just letting her know that I didn't see her message, and I don't know if I'm able to take the test, freaking out. She ended up calling me the morning of the test, which I'm just I'm not gonna be able to take the test. I'm gonna be a cancel or something like that. So she ended up calling me the morning of the test. She's we have all your stuff here, and I didn't I'm not in the mindset to take the test. So I'm not ready to take the test. Can I please reschedule? She's yeah, you can reschedule when just call LSAT, so I was on the phone with LSAT, explaining to them the situation that happened. And by the way, LSAT is very understanding. So if you need to communicate with LSAT, I think just call them up, email them. They're very understanding. So I'm just yeah, I was freaking out. I was not ready to take the test. Even thinking about it has my anxiety high right now. But yeah, so it ended up working out. They ended up pushing my test back, and the next test that I was signed up for, I think was it was the September test, and I felt more relieved. I know a few people who were planning on taking the July LSAT, and they pushed their test back to the October. They postponed their date to the October LSAT, and when speaking to them, I tell them I understand that too. Like, I've been through that too. I was scheduled to take the test in June, and they let me push it back to September, and the amount of relief that I felt was just like, you know what I mean? And then so I'm like, all right, I have more time, and I still didn't change anything about the way I was studying, because I felt like the way I was studying was fine. Like, it didn't click to me that you need to take some practice tests, girl. Like, how are you gonna know if you're making any progress if all you're doing is just going through these power score tests? But it didn't click to me, so I got comfortable. I'm thinking, oh, I have until September, so I don't have to be going as hard as I was in June, which that's a big mistake. Like, a lot. So throughout this whole story time, please pay attention to the mistakes I made, please, because I see a lot of people who are talking to me, they're like, oh, I pushed my test back, so I feel more comfortable. Don't get comfortable. That's what I did. I got comfortable. That's why I'm where I'm at now. But so yeah, I got comfortable. I was like, all right, I have more time. And then next thing you know, September is approaching slowly, and I still don't feel ready. And I couldn't even attribute it to, like, because I know a lot of people are like this. I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people are like this. You get in your own head and you freak yourself out, and you're like, I'm not ready. But you just, like, go ahead and do it. But I really was not ready. So when the September test came up, I think it was like, I actually missed the deadline. The deadline to switch your test date was August 12th or something. I didn't make up my mind to switch my test until August 14th. And again, I reached out to LSAT, and I'm just like, I wrote them a whole long email and called them, and they let me change my test date again. So this time I changed it to the latest date I could possibly change it to, and that was January. So again, I'm like, another weight relief off my shoulders. I'm like, and it's, I don't know why it was not clicking to me, like, girl, take these practices. I was just going through the books, and I'm like, now when I'm looking back at it, I'm like, you wasted a lot of time. But life is all about learning lessons, learning from your mistakes, and seeing how you do the second time around, right? So yeah, studying the same way this time around, the same exact way. I was understanding it though, and that's what makes me so, like, optimistic and so determined to keep going, because the content for me, like, as I started studying it, it's not like, oh my god, this is impossible. It's just like, okay, if I stay at it, I'm gonna get it. And that's what keeps me so optimistic. So yeah, we're in August, so my next test was in January, so I'm like, I have plenty of time. Like, I'm gonna do fine. By the time the test comes, I'm gonna do fine. So keep in mind, I pushed my test back 2 times already. So I'm like, I cannot. So as time is approaching, I got nervous. I got that nervous feeling again. I'm like, and then you know how they have a date where like, I think it's like, yeah, it's like a month before you could change your date or you can like cancel or something like that. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that this time. We're going through with it. We're going through with it, right? And like, no, we're going through with it. So yeah, I'm like, I'm going through with it. Test date is approaching. I'm studying the same way. The night before, I stayed up and I studied all night. Still didn't take any practice tests. The day of the test came, I woke up. I felt ready. I was like, I'm ready to take this test. Got to this test site. I found it okay. So that didn't cause any like stress or didn't distract my mind from anything because I found the test site fine. I met my proctor. Nice. That didn't cause anything. The people in my room, they were nice. I think what really made it set in and what really made me see like, all right, these people are really, this test is really no joke. I knew it wasn't a joke before, but I'm like, this test is no joke. When I saw like that determined look on people's face, they weren't here to play. I was like, these people are prepared. They were not here to play. And then me, I'm just like optimistic, like, so they give me my booklet and they read the instructions. Open the booklet. The first section, I'm pretty sure it was logic games because I didn't freak out on that section. First section was, I did amazing. Like, I feel like I did great on that section. One thing that I had problems on with that section was my timing. Why? Because I didn't take the practice tests. Or not practice tests, but I didn't work on timing. I was more focused about understanding the content, and that's another mistake I made. There's multi sections of the test. You have to understand the content, you have to understand the tricks that they do, the timing, and I didn't work on that. So got through that section fine. I was confident in that section. Next section was, I'm pretty sure it was a logical reasoning section. And the first question, I read it and I had trouble with it. And I wasn't confident in my answers. And I'm the type of person, like, I like to be confident in my answers. Like, yeah, I got that right. I was not confident in my answers, and I had like a whole panic attack right there in the testing room. And it wasn't like it was like a silent, you know how you have like those silent like inner panic attacks and your mind is going crazy and you're not really even like there. And I had a whole panic attack that whole section. I wasn't even really able to like read through the questions. I got through it, but I don't know how. And I know I didn't do good on that section because I was just like zombie freaking out, like, I'm a failure. I'm not gonna be anything in life. Like, I didn't do what I needed to do. Horrible. It was horrible. Now, looking back on it, I can laugh at it and be like, you just weren't prepared and you shouldn't have forced yourself to do it. But in that moment, I was just freaking out and I felt horrible. So when that section was over, I think they gave us the 15-minute break after that section. I think they gave us the 15-minute break. I took the 15-minute break. I went to the bathroom I had a talk with myself. I'm like, listen, you are going to be okay. Like, go in there with the same optimistic outlook that you had when you first got there. You're going to be fine. You're going to do fine. Like, get back into it. It was one section. Get back into it. So the next section, I think it was a logical reasoning section, but this time I didn't freak out. I got through it. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm doing better. The next section, I think, was a reading comp, and I wasn't really like stressed about that, so I got through that section. And then I think I had 3 logical reasoning sections. I don't really remember, but I think I had 3 logical reasoning sections. Then the last section, of course, I'm pretty sure was a logical reasoning section. And being that I had time to, during my break, I had that prep talk with myself, I did fine with that section. But that one section, after seeing how I did on that one section, I should have canceled my score. I should have. But I was just so proud of myself that I got through the test. And everyone should be. You all should be proud that you got through the test. This is probably like one of the hardest tests you're going to take in your life. And you should be proud of yourself. You should celebrate because you studied so hard for it. And I was being optimistic. And when I got my score back, I was like, I knew I should, like, something told me like I should have, but something else told me, like, being that everything was going so like smoothly, like I just was able to push my test back, and I was like, no, this is for me. But I didn't do great, and that's why I'm here today studying for the LSAT again. And I really felt the need to get this video out to you guys because I know a lot of people maybe one day will go through what I went through, and this video is out there for them. They can reference back to and avoid a lot of the mistakes that I made, or a lot of people who are in the middle of going through what I went through. And if you could watch this video and see like what I made a mistake in and be able to transition, that's a great reward in itself. So that is my LSAT story time. I know it may seem a little frightening, and I hope it didn't scare you to take the test. The only reason why my experience was as traumatic as it was because I wasn't prepared. Like, that's the main thing. I was not prepared, and I didn't want to admit to myself that I wasn't prepared. I just wanted to go ahead and take the test the first time, and I was just being optimistic, but I wasn't being realistic. I think that's the main lesson that you should take from my experience is don't lose your optimism, but at the same time be realistic with what you're doing and what your goals are, and stay prepared. So that's my main suggestion. Be realistic with your goals. Be realistic with where you are. Be realistic with yourself, because you don't want to make the mistake of, thinking that, oh, well, it's just going to click on test day. It's not going to just click on test day. You have to put that work in. You have to. And trust me, if you put that work in, it's going to pay off. And I can honestly say I didn't put that work in as much as I should have. I didn't give this test my full, undivided attention. I didn't even have a fair chance when I went to go take it because I was lackadaisical with it. I was very, everything will be fine. I'm reading the Power Score books. I'm gonna get through those. As long as I get through those and I remember this and that, I'll be fine. But no, you have to put in real work. Put in real work, and you're gonna see it come back to you 10 times over. I promise you. Stay consistent. Put in that real work. You have this. You got this. You're gonna do fine. So Thank you guys for watching my video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave any comments. I hope the video was able to help someone. And yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know what other content you guys would like to see.